I want to thank the panelists, all of them, for providing a very useful perspective for us on renewables. And we have time for some questions. Am I right, Howard? We have time for some questions. Yes.
My name is Jennifer McAdoo. I'm a graduate student at Columbia University, and I have a question for Ms. Peterson. I think I spent a little bit too much time with the coal boys this summer because I was under the impression that the price of a kilowatt hour of electricity from solar PV was off the charts relative to other sources for electricity. So I'm wondering whether you could tell us a little bit more about what might explain that, especially what you called the value of electricity over the lifetime. Does that include externalities, or is that just offsetting the cost of buying from the grid if you're using the electricity directly? And then what I think is probably more important, because the bottom line is that you guys are selling these things to companies, what do you think drives the companies to purchase your technology? Is it something that's more like an intangible asset about marketing and a good reputation, or is it really about cost?
So on the levelized cost of energy question, Lazard Frere did a very good levelized cost of energy research paper recently that I think was done by Black and Veatch that showed that all the different types of solar versus coal versus natural gas-fired power projects. And I mean, just, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I mean, just as a ballpark, you know, you figure coal is, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, 7-8 cents per kilowatt hour. Does that sound about right to whoever's still here? Whereas natural gas fluctuates with the cost of the gas, so it can spike, but that could be like 7, 8, 9, 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Is that about right, Toni? And solar, you know, you're seeing 18, 20 cents per kilowatt hour generally. It depends on the type of solar, and it depends on the solar resource in the particular location that you've sited the plant. So no, totally not off the charts. I think you did spend too much time with the coal people because the costs really are coming down, and as efficiency goes up, so in other words, the material that we use and how much power it puts out increases, costs are coming down significantly. So and then why do solar? I mean, it's not just about looks, I think. It's very much that it's modular, it's fast. Actually, that's one thing, as Jacob was talking, that I neglected to say. You know, solar, if you've got a site and you've got everything kind of teed up, you know, like the Austin project, we could potentially build that in as little as 6 months for a 34 megawatt project. And that's pretty fast compared even to gas or coal-fired power project, because you got to get the turbines and so forth, or even wind, you know, just so long as the site is complete and the permitting is complete, it can be very fast. So it's actually like a very quick way to get renewables into your portfolio. And then I guess, Toni, you could talk about why do you add renewables to your portfolio?
Well, first of all, a clarification. When you compare solar, you have to compare the cost with residential rates. So, so $180 or $200 a megawatt hour compared with your residential rate, and in some cases it's not very different from what you pay already today. So if you look at your bill, you probably don't pay a price which is very different from that one. While the other costs for natural gas and coal were wholesale, so they basically don't take into account the cost for transmitting and distributing the power, so which makes the solar point even more compelling. Well, in our case, you know, as I said several times, we think this is not just because of marketing, but this is a business. I mean, this is a form of energy which is meaningful and can be meaningful for the energy demand of the humanity. And Enel has been a long believer of this since long term. And actually, right now, we have taken the further step of even creating a separate company for this specific business. So It is a reliable economic source of energy, and it's a good investment as well.
I had a chat with some coal boys down in San Antonio who said building a new coal plant, roughly 10 cents a kilowatt hour, O&M somewhere around 6 cents a kilowatt hour. Already you're pretty darn close to the upfront cost of solar. There are now many financing mechanisms coming in place. For example, where I live, I go to the county and get the money to put solar on my house, do efficiency, whole array of measures. I pay it back out of a slight increase to my property taxes over the lifetime of the property. If I sell the property, the value of the addition that I've made goes to the new owner, who continues to pay a slight increment in property tax, but that's dramatically less than what they are now no longer paying to the utility if they choose to simply cut off. I'm doing a grid-integrated system, but I also will have the battery so I can stand alone. So in event of a power outage, flip an isolation relay, and I keep on running. Little company up in upstate New York, Harbeck Plastics, had just put in a cogeneration, wind, solar, and green building system. Cost it quite a bit of upfront money. However, 2 weeks after it went in, the 2003 Northeast blackout happened. They just kept running, doing their injection molding. Outage costs to some of their neighboring companies of $50,000 an hour, and they were able to keep running. Being able to keep running paid off the capital cost of their measures right there. So increasingly, if you add in just ordinary business costs, never mind, in the case of nuclear, how do you decommission? What do you do with the wastes? The cost to native communities of the whole fuel cycle. In the case of coal, mercury in fish, asthma in children, impact on the climate, mountaintop removal, et cetera. These are costs that you and I are paying for right now. We just pay them out of our tax dollars. And Mr. Palmer's happy to socialize those costs. I'm not quite so happy.
You want to go somewhere, Tony?
Hunter point. Something else about renewable energy that you have to think about is that most of the developers offer IPPs a fixed price contracts for 20, 25 years. And tell me another thing that can give you price certainty for 20, 25 years. So there's basically no price volatility with renewable energy, and you couple that with 25 years guarantees on the component side of things. So again, there is no parallel in the sort of conventional thermal world or even nuclear for these kind of features.